Well, good morning and welcome on in to Iceline Quad Rinks in Westchester, Pennsylvania on this blustery Saturday morning. To kick off their MyHockey tournament here outside Philadelphia, the New York City Raiders will be playing the Capitals Academy Red Team based in Arlington, Virginia. The Capitals come into this game starting the new year off by going 1-0-1 against two DMV area hockey teams, and more broadly are 11-20-1 on the year. Capitals not had any common opponents with the Raiders, but they did beat area team the Greater New York Stars back in late August by a score of 5-2. Caps also lost to the Long Island Kings Bantam Milner team, a division just above the New York City Raiders division, and to the Long Island Arrows by scores of 0-3 and 0-2 respectively. As with most of these one-off tournaments, unless the teams have met before, you never quite know what you're going to get. Raiders coming to this game also 1-0-1 in the new year, having tied the Dix Hills Hawks and beaten the PAL Sound Tigers. Looks like we're ready, though, for puck drop period one. Right here on Midnight Sports, it's going to be Petro Sinelli. Marchuka looks to be Fauci out there as the forward line with Steinfink and Kushlewski as the defenders. Referees check both goalies. Looks like it's Jason Bricker in net for the Raiders today this morning. Don't forget to stick around, by the way, on Midnight Sports this evening at 7 p.m. as the Raiders will take on their second team in this MyHockey tournament in Philadelphia. In the event, Raiders win the opening faceoff forward in the offensive zone, thrown rink wide by Petro Sinelli, and now Marchuka will pick it up at the near half wall. Cycled all the way around, and Fauci goes to pick up the puck on the forehand. Hops over his stick, though, and the Caps will break out. Caps out of their zone, looking for a headman pass, cut off expertly there by Steinfink, who turns right around, gains the line, and dumps in. Marchuka fires in on the forecheck. It's Marchuka now, all the way at the end boards, and now the near corner looking for some support. He had Petro Sinelli there momentarily, but it was cut out nicely by a Caps player. Puck turned right back over by the Caps in the neutral zone, and now Blake Hyder on the ice for the first time today fires forward. Raiders getting a line change here behind the play, but we're going to get a whistle, and it looks like it's going to be a too many men on the ice call just 47 seconds into the first period here. Raiders trying to make a quick change, but the puck came right over by their bench, and because of it, they had 6 skaters out there. One more than allowed with a goalie on the ice. So defensive zone draw here coming up for the Raiders. Early penalty against them. 12-13 left to go here in the first. Caps to the power play. It's Berliner at the far dot. He wins that on the backhand over toward Aiden. Aiden takes the puck on the forehand, tries to work that all the way up to Finkelstein. Instead, the Caps come away with it, looking for a pass into the slot. Instead, comes to the near point. Puck comes up to the near point and then right back down as the Caps look to set up their power play. They go rink wide all the way across to the far point, but it hops over his stick, and the Caps will have to set up again. They'll cycle in the neutral zone, gain the line, and look to break in. Raiders set up at the blue line, gum up the play momentarily, and now Gossler on the puck. Jams that forward, not out just yet. Picked up by Finkelstein. He'll be able to skate this out of the zone. Puck sits at the blue line, and it looks like the Caps try and pour right back in, but Berliner on a nice back check takes over, picks up the puck, tries to chip it out on the backhand, gets the puck back in the defensive zone, and then sends it forward on his own stick through the neutral zone. He gains it on the penalty kill. He's in the offensive zone, trying to free up space for a shot. Hits a shin pad, goes wide. And now Berliner working hard to get the puck back. He's got Finkelstein as support here at the near half wall. Eli Finkelstein jams the puck in farther, and the Caps will have to cycle that all the way around to the weak side of the ice, but they find Berliner's stick. He tries to chip it farther, hits a man, and the Caps will have another chance to break out here. Instead, Berliner backhands the puck in deeper, and now the Caps do finally get the puck out of the zone, but a 1-on-3 developing. They'll have to turn and wait for more support. Caps pick up the puck at their own blue line. 10:56 left to go in the first period here. 41 seconds left to go on the kill for the Raiders. That puck comes all the way back down into the Caps zone, but before the line had been gained by the Raiders, so it's icing, and we'll get a stoppage in play here at 10:49 left to go in the first. Still 36 seconds left to go on the too many men on the ice penalty to the Raiders. 0-0 here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. The start of the MyHockey tournament in Philadelphia. Oh, Caps with a quick win, shot on goal. Bricker, his first action today, steers that aside expertly, and now the puck rolls out of the zone. That'll kill some more of this penalty against the Raiders. Marchuka all over his man on the forecheck on the kill here. He turns his man around at the end boards, and the Caps look to break out again, except Jake Meyerowicz there in the way on that headman pass, takes over the puck, and then leaves it for Chris Tanoff. Good to see him back out there. Tanoff dumps that puck off the stick of Marchuka into the offensive zone to kill more of this penalty. Just 5 seconds left to go on the kill as the Caps break out of their zone. They've got one more rush in them before we're back to 5-on-5 skating. It's a 2-on-1 developing. Tanoff comes over to cover. makes his man shoot wide of the cage. The Caps gain the zone, but they're without possession momentarily. Now they have it. Back to 5-on-5 skating. Just over 10 minutes left to go here in the first period. Tanoff all over his man behind the cage. Caps emerge with it, come up top to the blue line. Caps now try and work it in deeper. They're at the near dot. Shot comes in. Bricker rejects it once, then twice. Now the puck comes around, and it's swiped out very well there by Chris Tanoff, as Bricker had made 2 saves, but couldn't quite push over on the quick change for the Caps to the weak side of the ice. Tanoff stands tall. The Raiders live to fight another day. Puck comes up. Not out of the zone yet for the Raiders. Nate Koslewski, long stick there. Comes up any play deeper by the Caps, at least initially. Bouncing puck does eventually find the near corner in the defensive zone for the Raiders, but it hits a man on the zone exit. Icing will be waved here, and the Caps will have to retrieve all the way back down in their zone. Caps now on the puck behind their net. Marchuka in on the forecheck. Forces a pass to the near side. The Caps look to break out on that diagonal pass. Instead, Bizarro in the way that time. He jams that puck in deeper, and the Raiders will complete their change here as Bizarro picks up the puck at the near dot. Can't quite pull the trigger as puck rolls off his stick. The Caps will look to break out again of their own zone. They gain the line, they dump it in deep, but it hits an open door at the Raiders bench, so we'll get a whistle with 8:54 left to go here in the first period, and it gives us time to remind you, you're watching this game on Midnight Sports. It's a hockey tournament that you don't have to attend. It's Midnight Sports. Ensuing faceoff, Bizarro takes over control in his own end, turns, fires it up the boards, hits Kalemba's stick, and out of the defensive zone for the Raiders. The Caps will pick it up again at center ice and dump it in deep. Bizarro again turns to retrieve the puck in his own zone. He's at the far corner now, cycling behind his net and working that puck up to Lorenzo Vigliotti. Vigliotti at the near half wall tries to jam it farther. The Caps dump it in again. Hyder gets another bite at the apple and sends it all the way out of the zone. The Caps will have to collect in the neutral zone and try and break in again. Now Aiden turns after the Caps have gained the zone and dumped it in. Aiden with the puck, reverses it over to Hyder. Hyder on the puck now. He's got Kalemba forward. Puck comes off his stick momentarily, and now the Caps fire in on Bricker, but he makes it to the puck first, gloves it there, and it's frozen. So with 8:10 left to go here in the first period, Caps starting to tilt the ice just a little bit, but the Raiders standing tall. It'll be a defensive zone draw to Bricker's left. It's Berliner, Steinfink, Gosler, Petrosinelli, and Fauci out there as the 5 Raider skaters. Caps win that face-off forward. Steinfink turns to try and jam the puck around, hits a body, and it comes all the way up to the far point. Dumped right back in by the Caps. They're looking for a pass off the end wall right now, and they're able to pick up that puck. Quick pass again to the far point, trying to set up a shot with bodies in front. Jammed in. Bricker's able to steer that aside, not once but twice. And the Raiders try and send it out of the zone. Unable to do so now. Oh, deflection in front. Oh, that's a Caps goal. Well, it was a last-second deflection right in the blue paint there, and the Caps were able to pot it as they stood right in front of Bricker and got that one through the 5-hole on a shot that looked like it was going well wide. So at 7:44 left to go in the first, it's Caps 1, Raiders nothing. We'll see how the Raiders respond here to an early Caps goal after, in all fairness, the Caps had tilted the ice just a bit right before that goal. Koslewski now picks up the puck behind his own net, works that puck up to Finkelstein. Finkelstein with a nice stick lift is able to get that puck over to Marchuka. Now Marchuka in the offensive zone. On the backhand, goes high, just wide of the cage. Puck now comes up to the near point. Tanoff fires it back in. Caps take over at the near circle and then pass that out of the zone. Finkelstein turns at center ice, harassing his man, makes him dump it in all the way deep, and Koslewski will go to retrieve on the backhand. He moves that puck over to the near half wall. Caps take over there. And then it comes to Tanoff, who tries to work it farther. Puck eventually out of the zone off the stick of Finkelstein, and Marchuka picks up again, tries to work that puck in the offensive zone. Meyerowicz has to turn with that, as the puck had not crossed the blue line just yet. It does now, but again, just a moment too soon there, as Meyerowicz was trying to buy his teammate time to exit the zone, but the forecheck of the Caps forced the early pass. So with 6:52 left to go here in the first, Raiders are offside. We'll get a center ice draw for them. Now some good puck movement there by the Raiders after the Caps goal. And it'll be Berliner now at center ice. Wins that face off to Hyder. Hyder works that right back up to Berliner. It's a 3-on-2 if the Raiders hurry. Berliner just flicks a puck in, looking for a rebound, but it's gloved down by the Caps goaltender, so we'll get another stoppage in play here at 6:44 left to go in the first period. It'll be Samosi, Berliner, Aiden, Hyder, and Pizarro out there as the 5 skaters. Berliner again wins that faceoff on the backhand. Comes up to Hyder. Big shot comes in. Deflection, and it's saved nicely by the Caps goaltender there. Just 4 seconds between faceoff and save. And it's still a 1-goal game here. Same 5 skaters stay out. Berliner again wins it on the backhand up to Hyder at the near point. Another Hyder slapper comes in. Raiders were looking for a deflection in front. It missed everyone, made it to the end wall, so now Aiden keeps, tries to work that over to Pizarro. Pizarro curls, no-look shot, rebound comes up to Samosi, can't quite settle a rolling puck, so he takes it around the cage and tries to work it in deeper. Hits the linesman there, Pizarro picks up and curls at the near dot. Now Pizarro trying to switch up the goalie there, hits the side of the cage, and the Caps will pick up the puck, but can't quite move it out on the forecheck of Pizarro and Berliner. Now Berliner tries to find Samosi. His stick's lifted at the last second. Puck comes up to Aiden, who taps it in deeper again. Pizarro all over his man. Takes him out of the play, but the arm's up. So it looks like Dom Pizarro is going to go sit here for 2 minutes on a quick penalty call there. Looked to be a good hit, but that arm went up pretty quickly as his man was separated from the boards. And so as to keep control of this game early, linesman makes a roughing call, and it'll be Pizarro to the box for 2 minutes with 6:01 left to go here in the first period. Still Caps 1, Raiders nothing. Defensive zone draw coming to Bricker's left. It's Marchuka as the center on the penalty kill. Wins that over to Gosler. He's got Bigliotti out there with him, as well as Steinfink. Steinfink works the puck up to Marchuka and then flicks it farther, not just out, until he gets a second try at it and does it all the same. Caps will have to cycle in the neutral zone. Now they dump in deep once they gain the line. 1:43 left to go on the penalty against the Raiders. It's Steinfink trying to work that puck up farther. He's got 2 Caps men all over him. Tries a bouncing puck to get it past the blue line. Marchuka tries to support him there, but the Raiders unable to clear the zone. Steinfink now works it up to Marchuka. Marchuka with a backhand goes high. Still not out of the zone. But we get a quick whistle there, as it looks like it might have been a hand pass. So with 5:25 left to go here in the first period, it'll be a face-off outside the Raiders' defensive zone. Still 1:24 left to go on the Raiders' penalty kill. Puck's dropped immediately. Caps win and dump that puck right back in. Gosler turns now, pick up the puck, tries to reverse. Puck hops off his stick, and the Caps take over at the far half wall and now to the end boards. Caps still with possession as the Raiders give them the outside of the ice, but nothing in the middle. Caps working up top, send that puck in, looking for a deflection in on Bricker. Unable to beat him, though. He's able to leg that aside harmlessly to the end wall. Caps pick the puck right back up and dump it right back in. They're behind the cage looking for a pass into the slot. They find their man. Bricker's able to reject that immediately. And then once again, 2 nice saves there by Jason Bricker. Pass comes in, shot comes in, that's a score. Oh, the pass from the weak side of the ice came into the blue paint. 2 Caps had a shot at it, and the second one hit pay dirt. So with 4:50 left to go here in the first, the Caps score on the power play. It's Capitals 2, Raiders nothing. Well, we'll be back to 5-on-5 hockey here. For the ensuing face-off, it'll be Meyerowicz, Finkelstein, Petrosinelli, Schlefsky, and Tanoff out there as the 5 skaters. Schlesky turns to pick up the puck in his own defensive zone. He racks it around the boards, looking for Meyerowicz at the far half wall. Caps get there first. They're able to keep the zone. Puck goes point to point, misses all sticks, but now the shot comes in. Deflection in front. Bricker saves that well, and the Caps will have to turn with the puck in the offensive zone. They're on the backhand at the far half wall, trying to cycle that puck in deep. They do. 2 Caps men behind the net, looking for that high pass up. They send it in. Bricker blockers that aside, hits a body in front. Now the ensuing shot comes in. Bricker's able to save that twice again, and the Caps set it right back up at the far point. Shot goes wide there off a deflection. Finkelstein trying to move this puck up and out of the zone. Comes down to Koslevsky behind the net. He works it farther along. Caps pick it up, though, at the far point. Shot comes in. Still looking for that deflection in front of the Caps. They hit there, but saved once again by Bricker. Puck not out of the zone just yet. Caps pour right back in. Meyerowicz moves his man off the puck and then retreats to his position at the far point. Petrosinelli takes his man off the puck, but he's going to go to the box for that after hitting his man once he released the puck. Looks like it'll be an interference call once the Raiders touch up. 6 skaters on the ice right now for the Caps. Raiders really need to touch this puck on the delayed call. Caps dump it in deep. Tanoff will touch up here. We'll get the whistle with 3:27 left to go. And the Raiders are going back to the box here for what should be an interference call, as the Capitals have a 2-goal lead. Well, it's going to be a cross-check, but it's all the same. 2 minutes in the box for Petrocinelli as the Raiders penalty killers, come over the wall again. Berliner winning that face-off. Hyder chops it out of the zone, and the Caps will have to reset in the neutral zone now with 3:19 left to go here in the first period. Caps go point to point, looking for a diagonal pass. Comes off one stick, then two, and Aiden just feathers that right back out of the zone, so the Caps will have to set up again. This time they dump it in deep. Raiders defenseman turn. Aiden gets there first, cycles it around to himself, and now Samosi fires in to gum up the play. He does. Hyder takes over behind the net. He's on the forehand, tries to work that up to Berliner. Berliner chips it to himself, and it's out of the zone. He finds a headman pass for Samosi. Samosi's one-on-one. He's turned rink wide, but he's just killing a penalty here as he dumps it in deep. And that's precious seconds off the clock for the Caps. Berliner now pressing hard behind the net. Caps come away with it momentarily. Caps still have it now in the far corner, but they'll have to set up behind their own net again as they cycle the puck around to the near half wall. Caps try a diagonal pass. Cut out momentarily by Berliner. Samosi looked to take his man out of the play. He did. And the Caps just dump it in once they gain the line. Hyder now on the puck. Moves it to the near corner. A near point. And it comes right back down to the near corner. Caps with some possession now in the far corner. Puck comes out to the slot. Bricker sticks that farther for Berliner. Berliner finds Samosi. Samosi dodges his man, gains the offensive zone, dumps that in deep. 43 seconds left to go. Raiders can make a change now on the Samosi dump in. Caps pick up the puck in their own end again. They wait on the Marchuka forecheck. Puck comes diagonally up, not out of the zone just yet, as Samosi takes care of that pass the first time, and now comes a Steinfink into the neutral zone. Steinfink weak side finds Marchuka, just a bit too far for him, but Marchuka chops out the clearance, and the Caps will have to pick up in their own zone again. Now Bizarro back on the ice, finds Marchuka. Marchuka curls into the slot, and now the near corner. Sends a shot in on goal. Caps save nicely there, and they'll have to cycle that puck behind their net. Caps still in the power play here for another 10 seconds or so. They'll break out of their zone. They have a 2-on-2 with speed developing. Gossler back, he turns, sends his man wide. Shot comes in, and they score to the Caps with just 1 second left to go on the power play for them. The Caps pot it right into the back of the net. So with 1:27 left to go here in the first, it's Caps 3, Raiders nothing. Well, some bad luck there as the Caps got one last rush out of that power play, and they were able to laser a shot in on the 2-on-2. And so now the Raiders have a bit of a hole to climb out of. Ensuing faceoff, one forward by the Raiders. Marchuka now all over his man in the neutral zone. Tanoff's able to chop that puck out of the defensive zone. The Caps will have to set up again in the neutral zone. That pass misses everyone, comes in on net, so Bricker has to touch that aside, and Tanoff tries to work it up to Kalemba now. Puck in that near point. Kalemba's able to kick that farther. Marchuka nearly beats his man to the puck, but now Vigliotti on the puck. Raiders are onside. Vigliotti on the backhand, looking for a teammate in the slot. He finds Kalemba. Kalemba pots it. That's a Raiders goal. Vigliotti to Kalemba off the rush. Set up by Marchuka there. And the Raiders are on the board with 55.9 seconds left to go here in the first period. They've cut it to a 2-goal deficit, exactly how you'd want them to finish this period if you're a New York City Raiders fan. Ensuing faceoff, Marchuka tries to win that up to Vigliotti. Caps turn it the other way, and Tanoff then uses the boards to find Vigliotti again. Vigliotti now rink wide, sends a shot in wide of the cage. Marchuka's going to pick this up at the far half wall. He shovels that up toward Koslevsky, but he hits the linesman, and the Caps look to take over momentarily. Instead, it's Kalemba emerging with the puck in the far corner. Now behind the cage are the Caps with possession. Just a half minute left to go here in the first period. Headman pass misses everyone. Tanoff picks up at his own blue line, uses the boards to send that up. Strange carom off the dasher, comes all the way in to the offensive zone. Icing waved, and Koslevsky will jam it back in at the far point. Puck now behind the cage. Marchuka looks for a teammate in the slot. Can't quite get it to Vigliotti before the Caps find the puck, and they're going to try and work this puck out of the zone, are the Caps. They do. They're at their own blue line, and now they've got a rush going the other way. Cut out very well by Tanoff there, and the Caps can do nothing more than dump in, and that's going to do it for the first period. After one here in Westchester, Pennsylvania, it's the Capitals 3, Raiders 1. Stick around. We're going to put 13 more minutes on the board here, and we'll do it all over again in just a second. It's going to be Berliner here to start the second period. He's got Meyerowicz, Finkelstein, Aiden, and Hyder out there with him. Caps win the faceoff. They go point to point at their own blue line, calling for it to work into the Raiders' defensive zone, but it's shepherded out by Hyder. Finds Meyerowicz, who finds Berliner streaking through the neutral zone. Berliner gains the zone. He loses the puck momentarily, sends a fluttering puck in that doesn't quite reach the cage, but now he picks the puck right back up behind the net, looking for a teammate out in front. Instead sends it to Hyder, who pinches in to keep the puck in the offensive zone. He's able to do it twice and then send a long shot in, but doesn't quite reach the goal as it hits a body in front. The Caps try to work that out diagonally. Instead, Aiden with the puck slaps it right back in. Finkelstein turns to pick up. Caps beat him to it. Just 30 seconds gone here in the second period as Meyerowicz shovels that puck farther in the offensive zone. Berliner all over his man, try and take it from him. Caps will have to try and reverse that out of the zone. Meyerowicz just misses on that puck that came into the blue paint, and the Caps will take over here at the near half wall, only momentarily as two Raiders are all over him. Meyerowicz and Berliner all over the puck. They send that in the blue paint, hits a skate in front, and it's saved nicely there by the Caps goaltender with 12 minutes even left to go here in the second period. Some great forechecking there by Berliner and Meyerowicz. Keep that puck all the way in the offensive zone, and as a result, the Raiders will have an offensive zone faceoff coming up. And they'll get Marchuka, Koshlevsky, Pizarro, Samosi, and Tanoff out there as the five skaters. That puck's won by Marchuka up to Koshlevsky, who tries to send that in just wide, looking for a Pizarro tip. Puck evades him, and the Caps will dump that out of the zone. Icing wave as Koshlevsky turns to pick up the puck. He's got a man all over him. Tanoff takes the man in the slot. Koshlevsky gums up his man long enough to prevent an initial pass, but now the shot comes in, hits the side of the cage, gets stuck on the back twine. Bricker shut down the near post as the puck rolls wide, and now the Raiders will break out of their zone. If they hurry, they've got a 3-on-2 developing. It's Marchuka at the far right wing looking for Pizarro in the slot. Pizarro waits for the puck in the slot, hits a skate, so it ends up behind Pizarro, and he'll have to collect the puck and leave it at the near point for Koshlevsky, who jams that puck in farther, finds Marchuka, looking for Samosi, streaking toward the net. Instead, it's cut out. Now it's Pizarro, who hits the crossbar. Oh, the Raiders were just that close to cutting this to a one-goal game. Now the Raiders keep the offensive zone. Marchuka tries to dump that farther. It's taken off his stick, though, and the Raiders will have to turn in the neutral zone now all the way into their zone to pick up the puck. Koshlevsky goes point to point with Gossler. Gossler surveys the field, sends a diagonal pass up through Samosi into the neutral zone. Caps will dump that in, but we're going to get a call here. Looks like it's going to be an offside on the Caps. You know, maybe even an icing. Anyway, the result's the same, either an intentional offside or an icing there on the Caps. It's going to be a defensive zone draw for them, and it'll be Berliner, Gossler, Petrosinelli, Steinfink, and Fauci out there for the Raiders with 10:51 left to go here in the second period. It's won by Berliner, picked up by Petrosinelli, who tries a twirling shot there. It's on target, but it's saved by the Caps goaltender. Berliner now tries to jam that puck farther. Almost comes up to Petrosinelli, but instead comes to Gossler, who shovels it farther on the backhand. The Caps do eventually get it out of the zone, so Steinfink will turn in the neutral zone. Backhands that weak side, looking for Fauci. Just a bit too far for him, and now the Caps come the other way. Hands up for icing here. Icing wave, though, as Gossler takes the puck and tries to reverse up. Caps come away with it. They send that puck in deeper. Now it's Berliner on the forehand. He's able to chip that up to Petrosinelli. Petrosinelli comes weak side, finds Fauci. And Fauci leaves that puck for Berliner to get out of the zone. Berliner does get it out of the zone. He skates to the neutral zone, tries a self-pass. Petrosinelli's going to beat everyone to this puck, try and send that to the slot. Instead, a Caps man gets in the way, and it's at the far half wall now with Caps possession. They're able to send that up to the blue line and out, and Hyder will turn with the puck in the neutral zone. Chips that farther for Berliner. He's got two Caps men on him, and the Caps just chip it right out again. And Aiden now will turn and pick up the puck at the near defensive circle. He goes behind his cage, looks up, tries to find Fauci there. Just a little too hot to handle, and the Caps fire that right back in to the end boards. Puck now sits in the slot momentarily. Fauci shepherds that farther to the weak side, picks it up on the forehand. Evades a hit, but hits a shin on the exit pass, and Aiden cleans up and sends that out of the zone. Now the puck comes to Hyder at the defensive blue line. He finds Berliner. Berliner's going to be able to dump that into the offensive zone, and the Raiders get at least a partial change here as the Caps recoil in their own zone. It's Marchuka now harassing his man on the puck. He cuts out the pass. The Caps are only able to dump in. This puck goes behind Bricker's net, and the Caps look for that slot pass. Instead, Marchuka's there first. He's with speed. It's a 1-on-2 for Marchuka, but now he's got Vigliotti streaking up the left side with him. Marchuka finds Vigliotti. Vigliotti curls around his man, goes behind the cage, looks to return the favor to Marchuka from the end boards. Puck hits a stick there, takes a strange carom, and the Caps will take over again. They dump it right back out of their zone. We've seen this movie before, folks. The Raiders have tilted the ice to start this second period. The first 6.5 minutes have been nearly all Raiders as they look to get this puck out of the defensive zone now, and they work it up to the near point. They're going to get a call, though, as the Caps touch up, and it's going to be a penalty on them. They'll go to the box for the first time today. Looks like it'll be for roughing for 2 minutes. That will only help the Raiders tilt the ice farther. Raiders' start to this period has been eerily reminiscent of the Caps' start to the first period. The only difference, of course, being that the Raiders still looking to find the back of the net in this period. So 2-minute penalty put on the board there with 8:33 left to go here in the second period. It's Caps 3, Raiders 1. Raiders to the power play. It'll be Finkelstein, Berliner, Meyerowicz, Gosler, and Steinfink as the 5 skaters. Caps come away with that face-off. They dump it all the way down. It should be an immediate icing. It is, so just 6 seconds off. The penalty kill there for the Caps as they ice the puck almost immediately on the face-off. Same 5 skaters will stay out there for the Raiders. We'll set up and do it all over again. Longtime Midnight sports fans might remember at these tournaments, referees are instructed to get the game started as fast as possible. That's why we're getting all these quick puck drops and very few line changes on what normally you'd see on an icing. In any event, Raiders win that faceoff, take it back to the neutral zone, dump right back in, and now the Caps look to break out. Gummed up initially by Meyerowicz. Caps take over again. He can only push it so far as Steinfink. Steinfink walks in, sends a shot all the way over the goaltender's shoulder, and that's a Raiders goal. Oh my, I don't know if it hit somebody in front or not, but the old Ephus pitch there from Nate Steinfink finds the back of the net, and the Raiders don't care who got it. They care that they got it. So with 8:05 left here in the second period, it's Capitals 3, Raiders 2. Ensuing faceoff's going to be Berliner, Finkelstein, Meyerowicz, Tanoff, and Kishlevsky. The Raiders feeling good after that power play goal. They win the faceoff. Kishlevsky finds Finkelstein, comes into the offensive zone, sends a long shot in. Caps goaltender saw that one the whole way, and he freezes, so with 7:58 left to go, it's going to be a defensive zone draw for the Caps as the Raiders continue push here in the middle frame. It's going to be Berliner at the near dot on the backhand, looking to win this over to the slot. A stoppage in play here just momentarily as the linesman explains something to the Raiders bench. Now the puck's dropped, comes up high to the high slot, and Tanoff dumps that in farther. Meyerowicz all over his man, takes the puck off him. Finkelstein looks to find Berliner on the backhand, just a bit too far for him, and the Caps will come and pick up the puck behind their own net. Caps still with possession, looking to skate this out of their defensive zone. They do. They relieve some of this pressure from the Raiders. They're all the way in the offensive zone are the Caps. They send that into the slot, cut out by Kishlevsky momentarily. Pass then hits a skate, comes in on Bricker, who shovels that aside, and then shuts down the far post. Caps still with the puck at the far dot. Hit farther by Berliner. Backhander hits a body in front and comes wide all the way to the near half wall. Finkelstein all over his man. Shepherds that puck to himself on the forehand, and then passes it up toward Meyerowicz. Can't quite get it out after it hits a Cap stick. Berliner now on the puck. Berliner tries to send it farther. Comes to Kishlevsky, who can't quite get it out of the zone, and the Caps just dump right back in. Tanoff now fires into the far corner to pick up this puck. He's got a Caps man all over him. That jams up any pass out of the zone. Berliner for support, looking to work that puck out of the zone. Instead, the Caps come away with it. Streaking player through the slot. Can't quite connect. And the Caps can't get the initial shot on goal. Follow-up hits the side of the cage. And now the puck in the near corner as the Caps start cycling and send that puck almost all the way in on net. But it's cut out by Berliner, and he skates it out of the zone. Berliner now with some verve into the offensive zone. He'll dump so that the Raiders can get a five-man fire wagon change on this with 6.5 left to go here in the second period. It's Bizarro on the forecheck as the Caps skate it through the neutral zone. They haven't gained the offensive zone yet with possession, and Hyder cuts out the threat by sending it right back the other way. The Caps will have to pick up in their defensive end. They do behind their own net. Bizarro again on his man after being harassed by Samosi. Bizarro gums up the initial pass, but now the Caps come with some speed. They've got a 2-on-1 developing. Hyder's back. 2-on-1 doesn't connect as the pass is just a bit too far. And the Raiders, through Samosi, pick up the puck and send it out of zone. Now Bizarro fires in. Bizarro's got a mini break if he can get to the puck first, but instead, Caps goaltender gets there. Now Bizarro sends that in, hits the post, and now Samosi can't quite finish the shot. Oh my, that puck just sat in the blue paint momentarily. Both Bizarro and Samosi trying to pot that after the Caps goaltender had come way out of the crease, but it hit a body in front on both Bizarro and Samosi's shot. So they couldn't quite finish the job there, but they are going to get a power play out of this. 2 minutes for cross-checking for the Caps as the puck stayed in the Caps' end. So at 5:38 left to go here in the second period, the Raiders will go to the power play for 2 minutes. Well, the Raiders are only a left post away from hitting all the iron on the cage in this game. Raiders fans would prefer the twine, certainly. So it's Bizarro on the faceoff, wins that forward as the clock starts to roll. Marchuka finds Bizarro. Bizarro curls into the slide. He's on the backhand, tries a blind pass shot in for Finkelstein to tuck away, but the Caps goaltender able to gobble that one up before any rebound was coming. Nice save by him. So with 5:29 left to go here in the second period, 1:52 left to go on the power play for the Raiders. They win the ensuing faceoff. Marchuka sends that puck in deeper. Samosi now in the near corner. Shields his man off from the puck and then finds Bizarro. Bizarro then trying to send a pass into the blue paint, just a little too close to the Caps goaltender. And so we'll get another stoppage in play now with 5:17 left to go in the second period. Still 1:40 left to go as the Caps now do make a penalty killing change here. We'll get 4 new skaters on the ice. The Raiders have spent a lot of time in the offensive zone here in the second period. Bizarro wins that faceoff to Samosi. Samosi buys himself some ice and then reverses right back down to Bizarro. Bizarro looking for a teammate in the slot. He goes to the weak side of the cage, finds Marchuka up top. Marchuka at the far point, sends it right back down to Bizarro. Bizarro sends a shot in, hits the goaltender. Rebound was there, got caught in some skates though, and the Caps will break out of the zone. We've got a 2-on-3 developing, but they're able to gain the offensive zone, or the Caps, with some speed. And now Gosser and Finkelstein firing on their man. Caps man escapes momentarily. It's cut out there by the stick of Marchuka. Marchuka will take over now. He's behind his own net, waiting for his forwards to get set up on this power play. Marchuka skates through his own zone into the neutral zone, still handling the puck. Raiders have stayed onside. No, we'll get a whistle here with 4:32 left to go as the Raiders broke in just a bit too early. Still 55 seconds left to go on the power play for the Raiders, as they'll look to even this game up, score another power play goal. It's Petrosinelli, Berliner, Fauci, Kushlewski, and Tanoff as the 5 skaters. Puck's dropped, won by the Caps, and they'll work that forward in the neutral zone, but eventually without possession. Kushlewski will turn into his own defensive end, rack that around the boards, and Fauci will look to pick it up here at the half wall with some speed. Picks it up on the forehand, jams it farther for Berliner, just a bit too far out of his reach, and the Caps will go point to point at their own blue line, and then dump that puck right back in. Tanoff will turn now to pick up the puck in his own end. Caps pushing a little bit more here on the penalty kill, sick of having the puck in their own defensive end for as long as they have. Tanoff turns again behind his own cage. 25 seconds left to go on the Raiders' power play. They look for that home run pass. They do find Fauci at the offensive blue line. Fauci in the offensive zone, waits for support all the way at the far half wall. Fauci looking for Berliner in front. Puck gets chopped there, and it eventually goes wide. Comes up to Kushlewski, and he sends that puck in, looking for a deflection. It goes wide of the cage as well. Berliner now looks to pick up the puck. He sends that puck in deeper. Caps will come up with it as the penalty expires to the Caps. 5-on-5 skating. Long shot comes in. Hits a stick in front. Berliner goes to pick up again and send that puck in deeper. Fauci now fires on his man. Caps chip it around him and then up and out of the zone, and Tanoff will fire at his own blue line to pick up the puck. He's got 2 Caps men on him, but he works it weak side over to Berliner. Berliner takes the puck into the offensive zone. He's got Fauci and Petrosinelli with him as that puck hits a stick and goes high. 13:12 left to go here in the second period. Puck sits at the near offensive half wall for the Raiders. Petrosinelli all over his man. Fauci jams it farther. Puck still sitting there as Kushlewski eventually fires that in. Hits a Cap stick, though, and they'll break out of their zone. Raiders get back in a hurry. It's a 2-on-2 developing now for the Caps. They're at the far circle trying to send a shot in, but Hyder is able to shield his man off from the goal, and the puck rolls harmlessly to the end boards. Now it comes to the near corner. Fauci tries to guide that farther. He does. He finds Kachlewski in the slot, and he just jams that out of the zone safely. The Caps will have to pick up with 2:30 left to go here in the second period. Caps find the puck in the neutral zone. They send it farther to the blue line. Long shot comes in. It's sticked aside there by Bricker, and Aiden will pick it up at the far side of the ice. Cycle it right back down for Hyder, and Hyder will look to pick it up with speed. He's got Petrosinelli ahead of him, and he finds him. And Petrosinelli, through some hard work, gets that puck out of the zone. Caps fire it right back into the zone, hit the back of the cage. Now Aiden picks up the puck in the far corner. Cycles around looking for some help. He finds Vigliotti in the near corner, but the puck bounces off his stick and now comes into the blue paint. Bricker able to stick that aside in the blue paint. Nobody home for the Caps, but they will dump that right back into the offensive zone. Caps take over. Look for a wraparound. Bricker with a good stick, able to keep that puck from getting into anywhere dangerous. Now the Raiders break out. Marchuka with speed. He's able to round his man. He's got Vigliotti streaking into the slot. Vigliotti waits. Pass cut out expertly there by the Caps defenseman. Now it comes up to Kalemba. Kalemba tries to find Vigliotti, and the puck just a little bit too far for him. So Hyder will pick up the puck and send it right back down to Vigliotti. Vigliotti fires just wide. Marchuka will pick up at the far half wall, send the puck in as well. Doesn't reach the goal as it's cut out by the Caps, and they'll skate this out of their zone. Caps dump that puck all the way in the offensive zone. Hyder will turn, backhand that up. Not out of the zone just yet, as the Caps are able to keep the zone. Heavy hit there by Vigliotti. Finds the puck in the slot. Caps still, though, keep the offensive zone momentarily. They send that puck in deeper. Now with some speed. They're in on Bricker, and they try and go forehand, backhand. Bricker shuts it down with the leg pad. What a wonderful save by him. Long shot comes in. Deflection loose in front. Still loose. Puck still loose in the slot. Raiders try and kick that puck out. They do, all the way out of the zone. Good defensive clearance there by the Raiders after a wonderful save by Bricker. Now the Caps come in. They send a shot in on Bricker, and he gobbles that one up. So with 45.6 seconds left in the second period, it's Capitals 3, Raiders 2. Now it'll be a defensive zone draw coming up here for the Raiders to Bricker's left. It had been nothing all period in the Raiders' defensive zone. And then in the span of about 60 seconds, the Caps got a couple of grade A chances there, all shut down by Bricker and the Raiders' defensive core. Caps will have to gain the zone again as that puck came outside the blue line. Now Steinfink turns in the far corner to move that puck farther. Caps get there first. They're able to block him off and then send that puck to the end boards, but without possession. So Steinfink on the puck, able to feather that up to Finkelstein nicely, and Finkelstein will skate that out of the zone with just 25 seconds left to go here in the second period. Raiders gain the offensive zone, but without possession. Caps try and work it farther. Instead, it comes to Berliner on the backhand. Hits a skate in front, goes wide of the cage. And now the Raiders are trying to work that puck up to the near point. They find Gosser, hits a body in front. It goes wide. Just 7 seconds left to go here in the second period as the Caps are going to be able to get this out of their zone. 4 seconds and 3. Berliner picks off that pass, and that's going to do it for the second period as the buzzer goes. It's Capitals 3, Raiders 2. Stick around right here on Midnight Sports. We're going to have period 3 in 13 more minutes, and this tight one coming right up. Well, it's been breathless here today, so it's been difficult to visit with any of our sponsors. But we do have a moment right here before the start of the third to visit with our first one today. Today's game on Midnight Sports is brought to you by Password Tips. Hockey fans, it's hard to get online and do anything without being asked for a password. Want to check your email? Password. Want to look at your bank statement? Password. Want to order pizza? You guessed it. Password. But with so many passwords, how are you supposed to remember them all? It's not like you can just use 1, 2, 3, 4. You know the kind of combination an idiot would have on his luggage. Now you've got to use special characters, capital letters, and numbers. Instead, use this one trick to remember all your passwords. The reset button. Just reset your password every single time. It's Password Tips. Surely no account is safer than the account where even the owner doesn't know the password. Well, thank you to our sponsors. Quickly here in the third period, Caps already with a shot on goal. Shut down, though, by Bricker again, keeping this a one-goal game. Now the Caps with some verve in the offensive zone. Able to leave it there in the mid-slot. Shot comes in. Blocker to side by Bricker. Loose change in front, then slapped out there by Kushlewski and Tanoff. Puck comes all the way in the offensive zone. Pizarro fires in. Harass his man. Samosi able to keep it in the zone momentarily, but now the Caps fire it right back out. Bit of a fraught start here. Some end-to-end action in the first 60 seconds of the third. Picked up now by the Raiders. Not out of the zone just yet as Steinfink tries to work it farther. Stick comes up a little bit high as the puck had rolled high. And it looks like we're going to get a high stick call here on the Raiders. And Steinfink, the guilty man, will be going to the box for 2 minutes with 12:02 left to go in the third period. It does give us time to remind you, you're watching this game on Midnight Sports. You know the drill. Hit that like, subscribe, or follow button. We'd appreciate it. It's Midnight Sports. Well, defensive zone draw coming up here. 2 minutes on the board for the penalty. 12:02 on the board for the rest of this game. Raiders need a goal here in the third period at the very least to force a tie. Caps win that faceoff and send it off the body of Petrosinelli at the blue line, who now works two men over and is able to get that puck out of the zone nicely, too. He sends it down, but it's not an icing as it won't cross the end line. Fauci now in on the forecheck. Forces an early pass. Puck comes up to Hyder's stick, who's able to gum up the play at least momentarily until the Caps do break into the neutral zone and now the offensive zone. Puck comes to Aiden after some expert back-checking there by the Raiders, and he's able to send it right back out of the zone. Caps will have to reset the neutral zone. They do. They gain the line, and now they're into the offensive zone, are the Caps. Dancing around a few men. Shot goes just a bit wide. Bricker's able to kick that puck off the end boards to himself, and we'll get a stoppage in play here with 11:25 left to go in the third period. Still 1:24 left to go on the high sticking call against the Raiders. It'll be Tanoff, Kushlewski, Vigliotti, and Berliner as the Raiders penalty killers in the defensive zone. This faceoff's going to come to Bricker's right. Faceoff won by Berliner. And Tanoff jams that farther and up and out of the zone. And now Vigliotti will fire. He's got some speed here. He's got two Caps men on him, but he jams up the pass and sends a shot off the side of the cage there. Does Lorenzo Vigliotti, eating up some more of this Capitals power play. Capitals break out of their zone. They jam that puck farther, just not into the offensive zone yet. Vigliotti will take over the puck. Icing wave there as Berliner fires into the offensive zone. Raiders still down a man, but Berliner gums up the puck at the far corner. 52 seconds left to go as the players are told to move the puck in the far corner. Berliner emerges with it, tries to send it to Vigliotti. Vigliotti does eventually find it in the slot. Deflected puck goes wide of the cage. The Caps will pick up in their own zone now as the Raiders give them a little bit of breathing room there. Caps work that puck into the neutral zone, but Kushlewski's able to cut out the pass initially. Now comes the Tanoff in the defensive zone, and Tanoff will go behind his cage on the forehand, rack it around the boards, up and out of the zone. Just 24 seconds left to go on the kill here for the Raiders as the Caps reset in their own zone. Caps gain center ice. Now they're into the offensive zone, are the Caps, but again cut out by Kushlewski, and the Raiders will look to pick up in their defensive zone. Clearing pass hits a body, and Kushlewski will pick up and rack it around the boards to the weak side. Puck goes all the way to the blue line, but not out, and the Caps fire it right back in. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey now, though, as the puck sits in the far corner. Caps looking for that slot pass, comes through the slot and misses everyone, and Vigliotti will pick it up and send that all the way down to the other end of the ice. It's going to be a Raiders icing, but it will give them a chance to organize their lines now with 9:50 left to go here in the third period. It's going to be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders. Well, it looks like it's going to be Kalemba, Meyerwich, Finkelstein, Hyder, and Aiden out there as the five skaters. Finkelstein wins that faceoff. Caps come away with it, though, as the shot comes in and goes wide. And now Kalemba will pick up the puck at the far half wall and try and work it farther. Caps are able to keep the zone. Hyder now turns in the far corner. He's on the forehand, skates behind his own net, harassed by one man and then two. Flicks that up past the blue line, and the Caps will take over again in the neutral zone. Caps man blows a tire, but he's able to pass it from the ice to a teammate and cut out a Raiders threat the other way. Caps pick up the puck again at their blue line. It's cut out at Hyder's blue line by Hyder. Jams that puck farther, but the Caps will have possession in their own zone. They feather that puck up and out of the zone, and the Raiders pick right back up on Finkelstein's stick. Finkelstein sends that shot in just wide of the cage. Kalimba looking for a rebound. Instead picks up the puck in the far corner. He's got a man all over him. Works the puck farther for Finkelstein. There's a Caps man in the way, so Meyerowicz fires in, looking for a pass into the slot. Instead flicks it over to Kalimba. Tries to find Finkelstein in the low slot, but it hits a Caps stick. The Caps will pick right back up behind their own net with 8:50 left to go here in this game. Caps go weak side, diagonal pass out of the zone without possession though, and Hyder tries to pick up the puck instead, goes through his skates, and now it's a 2-on-1 for the Caps. They find a man in front, but Bricker shuts that down. Wonderful save by him with 8:38 left to go here in the third period. Bricker keeps this a one-goal game. Now, it looked like the Caps were in momentarily, but they could not unlock the door that was Jason Bricker at the last second there. And so ensuing faceoff is going to be Meyerowicz at the near dot. He wins that forward all the way out of the zone, and Bizarro and Samosi will fire forward on the forecheck. Puck comes all the way into the Caps zone. Bizarro all over his man as he tries to make a pass out of the zone. Gums up the play. Marchuka then finds Bizarro again. Bizarro looking for the return pass to Marchuka. Instead, it goes through everyone. And the Caps pick up in the far corner. Harassed there, though, by Samosi. Samosi moves his man off the puck. Then he's taken out of the play by a second Caps man, but not before he gets the puck to Bizarro. Bizarro curls to himself, works that puck up to the point. Now it's Marchuka, and Marchuka tries to return the pass to Bizarro. Just a bit too hot to handle as the Caps pick up behind their net. Samosi takes his man out of the play. Puck comes all the way to the near point, and Steinfink jams the puck farther back into the offensive zone. Bizarro tries to take puck off his man. Samosi fires in for support and does the job. Now Bizarro at the end wall. Sends that puck into the blue paint. Can't find anyone there, and Samosi now takes his man out of the play again and cycles the puck around for Bizarro. Blows a tire, but he gets it to the slot. Shot comes in. Saved nicely by the Caps there. Marchuka had a chance. It was a good shot and an even better save by the Caps, who break back the other way. They're in the offensive zone, are the Caps. 7:30 left to go in this game as the Raiders furiously try and get this puck out of the zone. They do. Samosi has the puck through the neutral zone. Marchuka calling for it weak side. Bizarro leaves it for him. Just a bit too far as the Caps take over again, but Bizarro fires right back into the offensive zone. Curls toward the slot on the forehand, sends a backhanded pass toward Marchuka, who picks it up at the end boards, tries to find Samosi in the slot. Instead, the Caps are able to cut out the threat and then push it farther into the neutral zone. Only so far, though, as Nate Koslevsky, who has to break back in before Bizarro is able to leave the zone because the Caps are pressuring him, and he did not want to give up an odd man rush the other way. So it's 7:02 left to go here in the third period. It's Capitals 3, Raiders 2. Raiders knocking on the door here in the third period. It's Berliner, Petrosinelli, and Fauci out there as the forwards. Berliner wins that back to Tanoff, who's got Koslevsky out as his defensive pair. Raiders dump that puck into the zone at the side of the cage. Picked up by Berliner, looking for a teammate in the slot. Koslevsky calls for it at the far point, sends a long shot in, hits a body in front as the puck just sits there momentarily, and now the Caps chip that puck up and out of the zone. Koslevsky buys a little bit of time by gumming up a headman pass, but the Caps look to break into the offensive zone. Unable to get past Berliner at first. They do on the second try, and Koslevsky picks up the puck, and now it comes farther. Petrosinelli on a mini break there. Can't quite settle the puck, so he'll have to settle for possession in the offensive zone here at the near corner. Works it over to Fauci. Fauci tries a stick lift on his man, but the Caps are going to be able to get there first. No call coming there as the shot comes in from the far point. Caps wanted a holding call there, but instead, shot comes in from the far point and it's saved nicely by the Capitals goaltender. So at 6:15 left to go here in the third period, Raiders still pushing for that tying goal, and the Caps standing strong so far. It'll be Berliner, Petrosinelli, and Fauci still out there as the forwards. Koslevsky and Tanoff still as a defensive pair. Koslevsky sends that shot off a shin pad just wide. Petrosinelli looks to pick that puck up. Caps get there first. They cycle that puck deeper into their zone so that they can get possession with a little bit of breathing room in front. Instead, though, Fauci gets there first at the far half wall, tries to work the puck in deeper. A lot of sticks in the way. A lot of bodies right in front of the Caps bench over there. Fauci emerges with it. Finds Berliner in the slot. Berliner shoots. Saved at first. Berliner tries to get the rebound, send that through the blue paint. Oh, it went all the way through the blue paint. Can't believe it didn't hit anyone there. The Caps emerge with the puck. 5:40 left to go in this one as the Caps break into the offensive zone, but they're offside. We'll get a whistle. 5:37 now as the clock stops. Oh, the Raiders did everything but touch that puck into the back of the net. And so now it's going to be a face-off just outside the Raiders' defensive zone. And it's Kalemba, it's Vigliotti, Marchuka, Steinfink, and Gosler as the 5 skaters. Caps win that puck forward, and it's chopped out there by Gosler. Caps will have to pick back up in their own defensive zone. Caps on the puck behind their net. Marchuka forces his man to come back weak side. Diagonal pass connects for the Caps. They're able to get it out of the zone and then bank one through the neutral zone as Vigliotti tries to muscle his man off the puck. Caps work that puck over in a 2-on-1. Can't get a shot on goal, though. Raiders taking a few more chances now in the neutral zone to try and get some scoring chances and tie this one up. Vigliotti all over his man as the Caps dump right back in once they gain the line. 5 minutes left to go here as the Raiders look to pick up in their defensive zone. Steinfink with 2 men on him, but he's able to feather that over to Marchuk on the backhand. Tries to work that puck up and out of the zone, but makes it only so far as the far point. The Caps pick the puck right back up again. Try and send something into the slot. Puck comes to Steinfink, who works that over to Vigliotti, comes weak side, and Colombo will look to pick up at the red line. Caps beat him to it, but they get that puck into the zone a little too early, so it's an offside call with 4:38 left to go here in the third period. Raiders still pushing for that tying goal. It's going to be Finkelstein, Berliner, Meyerowicz, Hyder, and Aiden out there as the 5 skaters. One on the backhand by Berliner, and Hyder will fire all the way back into his zone to pick that puck up. Berliner curls behind his own net, looks for a reverse, sends it to himself, and now racks it around the boards for Finkelstein at the near half wall. But that puck's cut out by the Caps before it gets to him. Comes to the near point. Shot comes in, goes wide, sticked wider by Bricker. Now the Raiders try and pick up the puck in their own end. Puck comes to Aiden and Meyerowicz. Aiden now curls behind his own net. Reverses all the way over to Finkelstein, who does pick up the puck with some momentum at the half wall. He finds Meyerowicz in the neutral zone. Meyerowicz breaks through into the offensive zone. He's got 3 Caps all over him. They turn the puck the other way, but not out of the zone. Hyder with a heavy slapper hits a body right in front of him. The Caps will have to pick up behind their own net. 3:56 left to go as the Caps do finally clear the zone there on a pass that splits the defenseman. Aiden picks up the puck in his own zone. He's on the backhand. He shovels that around, looking for Finkelstein at the half wall. Caps get there first. Caps keep the offensive zone. They're at the near point. Self-pass there by the Caps player. Able to keep the offensive zone, and they're happy to gum up this puck just as long as possible. But we get a quick whistle as that puck got caught between some skates, it looks like. And so it's going to be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders. 3:35 left to go here in the third period. It's Capitals 3, Raiders 2, as the Raiders continue to look for that tying goal here in the opening game of the MyHockey tournament in Philadelphia. Caps win that faceoff, but Marchuk is able to shovel that up to the near point and then pick up a loose puck and skate through the neutral zone. He's got a 2-on-1 developing with Pizarro now. Marchuka sends that over to Pizarro, just a bit too hot for him, unable to put that puck in. Samosi picks up the change in the far corner, works that puck farther for Marchuka, who sends that off the side of the cage after it hits a stick. Pizarro all over his man, but the Caps do get possession and send that puck out of the zone. Tanoff turns now to pick up the puck in his own end. Tanoff at the near defensive circle, reverses over for Koslewski, just a bit too far. Waiting Caps player in the slot, can't handle that pass. And the Caps will have to pick up back in the offensive zone. Samosi gets to it first, works it over for Koslewski. Koslewski gets on the forehand, uses the glass to get that puck up to the far point, not out just yet. Caps still with some time and room and ice in the offensive zone until the puck comes rink wide to Samosi, who now through the neutral zone headmans it up for Marchuka. Marchuka's got Pizarro going into the slot again. Marchuka tries to beat the goaltender short side high this time, misses the cage, and the Caps look to work this puck out of their defensive end. They're able to do so as the puck sits at the blue line. Caps send that right back into their own zone, though, and Pizarro tries to fire forward on the puck. He's got a man all over him, but he's buying time for his teammates to get back into the offensive zone. Pizarro now finds Berliner in the slot. Puck rolls off his stick. Berliner looks to collect and send something in. Blows a tire there. The puck just sits at the near half wall with 2:12 left to go in this game. Marchuka picks up the puck at the end boards, looks for Pizarro in front. Barely hits a stick in front, and now the jam pass comes and goes wide of the cage. Pizarro looks to pick up again. The Raiders are absolutely buzzing for a tying goal here. Pass comes into the slot, hits a Cap stick, and goes out of the zone. That should be an icing as it goes all the way down to the other end. And with 1:50 left to go in this game, looks like the clock is still running. still running is the clock. A lot of shouting now from the stands. And it is finally stopped with 1:34 left to go. And now it's reset to 1:55, mollifying the Raiders fans here who want as much time on the board as possible so that they and their kids can tie this one up. Now, it looks like we have a timeout for the Raiders, which gives us time to visit with our second sponsor of the day. Today's Game on Midnight Sports is made possible by Spam Calls. Hockey fans, when was the last time you got a phone call from an unknown number that wasn't trying to sell you an extended car warranty or reminding you that you could reduce your credit card debt? While you may curse just how many of those calls you get, look on the bright side. Spam calls can help in so many ways. Maybe you need to get out of a conversation. Wait for the phone to ring and let everyone know you've, quote, got to take this. Or maybe it just helps your ego to get so many phone calls. It's spam calls. Without them, how would you even know your phone worked? Well, let's reset this one for you as the timeout huddles break. 1:55 left to go in the opening game of the MyHockey tournament here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It was all Caps in the first period and then all Raiders in the second. And we've remained stuck at a 3-2 hockey game here in the third period as the chances have been relatively even, but the Raiders really pushing for that tying goal, taking some chances in the neutral zone that's led to some breaks the other way. Bricker stood tall as the Raiders look to put this one in the twine. Berliner wins that faceoff in the offensive zone. Steinfink dumps it in deeper, and the Caps look to get that puck out of the zone. Got our eyes on Bricker as he may leave the ice for a sixth skater, but only once the Raiders get solid possession here in the offensive zone. That puck's going to go all the way down, should be an icing, and it will give the Raiders coaches a chance here to consider pulling Bricker to tie this one up with six skaters. We'll see. They may wait until the Raiders get possession in the offensive zone here. It's going to be Bizarro, Berliner, Marchuka, Gossler, and Steinfink. Coach Coffey has both centers out there in Berliner and Marchuka in case one gets kicked out of the circle. It's Berliner looking to win this on the backhand. Wins it forward, and now Marchuka takes over just momentarily. Raiders unable to keep the zone, though, and they fire that back in. But because several Raiders had been knocked down in the zone, it's going to be an offside with just 92 seconds left to go here in the third period. We'll see where this face-off is put. Looks like it's going to be a center ice draw as the linesman tracks down that loose puck all the way back down in the Raiders' end, giving the Raiders truly a breather to try and get set up. All right, center ice draw here. Still Berliner over the dot. He's got Bizarro and Marchuka out there with him as the forwards. Berliner gets kicked out of the circle. It looks like it might be an equipment issue for him. So now Finkelstein will come out and take over that right wing position. Marchuka at the dot. Well, that's why you do it. Coach Coffey has the experience there to know to have two centers on the ice. In any event, puck comes to Steinfink at his own blue line. The Caps break back in. They're happy to kill off as much of this game in the offensive zone as they can. Gossler reverses for Finkelstein. Finkelstein looks up ice. Bizarro waits for the home run pass. The Caps still sit in the offensive end, though, with the puck in the near corner. Gossler bodies his man off the puck. It comes to Finkelstein, who feathers that up to Marchuka. Marchuka tracks down that puck at his own blue line, jammed farther by the Caps, but now Marchuka's able to get that puck out. Bizarro on the puck at the blue line, sends it in deep. That'll give Bricker a chance to leave the ice. 55 seconds left to go in this one as Finkelstein works hard. Caps take over, though. There's an empty net for them. They shoot for it all the way down to the other end of the ice. They miss, and that's going to be an icing. Called well there by Petro Sinelli as that puck misses when the Caps fired from their own blue line. 46 seconds left to go here in the third period. Raiders with six skaters on the ice and an empty net. And this is going to be an offensive zone draw here for the Raiders to the Caps goalie's left. But first, the Caps are going to call a timeout, which will give us time to visit with our last sponsor for this morning's game. Today's Game on Midnight Sports is sponsored by limiting your kids' screen time without looking up from your phone. Hockey fans, we've all had to have the hard conversation with our children or grandchildren about screen time. You worry, how much time is too much time? But have you considered increasing the degree of difficulty when having that conversation? Next time you have it, don't even bother to look up from your phone. Teach your child that some things in life just aren't fair. Or even better, send them a text letting them know it's time to put the phone down. It's limiting your kids' screen time without looking up from your phone. Surely you can't be expected to disconnect in the middle of a Wikipedia rabbit hole. Now 46 seconds left to go in this one. Raiders have done everything here in the third period other than find the back of the net. You've got to figure the dam will break eventually if they can get enough pressure in the blue paint on this Caps goaltender. Caps took a timeout here after just missing the empty net on that clearance from their own blue line. And so, ensuing faceoff's going to be in the offensive end for the Raiders to the Capitals goaltender's left. Capitals 5 skaters come out. The parents cheer for them as they break their huddle. 6 skaters for the Raiders are going to be Petrosinelli, Fauci, Koslewski, Berliner, Vigliotti, and Tanoff. The Raiders will stack that slot with Vigliotti and Petrosinelli. A lot of big bodies in front. Berliner wins that on the backhand, but the Caps are able to chop that out of the zone, and now they fire in. They see that empty net, do the Caps. Tanoff gets to the puck first, works it up to Fauci, and now the puck comes all the way into the offensive end, though, as Koslewski guards as a semi-goalie near the blue paint. Puck sits in the Raiders' end. Caps looking for just a little bit of ice there to try and get a shot on goal as the puck sits at the half wall, and then it's dumped in deeper by Koslewski. Near Koslewski, works that puck all the way around to the far half wall. Fauci takes his man out of the play, but it's going to be a penalty call. Looks like it was just a bit after his man had released the puck. Doesn't look like the Raiders bench agrees with the call, though, as Fauci will go to the box with 14.9 seconds left to go. Bricker will come right back out on the ice. And the Raiders bench is unhappy with that call. Just 15 seconds left to go in this one. So 2 minutes on the board. Not that it matters. What matters is the Raiders are down a skater now and still down a goal. And just 14.9 to put it right. It'll be Berliner in the defensive end. Looking to win this over to Petrosinelli or Tanoff. Caps come away with it, and they send that out of the zone. Happy to just kill this game, though, wherever they can at this point. Feathering it through the neutral zone to the Caps. And it finally finds a Raiders stick, but only with 5 seconds left and now without possession. That's 3-2 and now 1. And that's going to do it for game 1 here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. We've gone final. It's Caps 3, Raiders 2. Thanks so much for joining us here this morning. Remember to tune in tonight at 7 p.m. as the New York City Raiders are back in action in game 2 of the MyHockey tournament. Until then, stay safe.